Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
A carjacking in Winchester and a bank robbery here in Lexington, and police say one suspect connects them both.
Could a hospital's mistake have caused more people to be exposed to the Ebola virus in the United States?
Talk about an extreme home makeover. First an historic home, then a hoarder house, now a prime piece of restored real estate.
WKYT News at 11 starts now. Good evening to you. It started with a car stolen at gunpoint outside a Walmart. Then a short time later, a bank robbed in a different city.
And tonight, police think the same man pulled off both of those robberies. Police later found the stolen car, but not the robber. This is a surveillance picture of the man they're looking for now. WKYT's Carjacking has the latest in this investigation out of Winchester and Lexington. It's our top story at 11.
A carjacking, then a bank robbery, and police say one man is responsible for both. It all started in Winchester, now ending with police searching here in Lexington. It was some scary moments for a Winchester woman when police tell us she was at Walmart probably doing some shopping, but instead she was robbed at gunpoint with a man getting away in her car. As if that wasn't enough, police now say the same man in the stolen light blue Kia also went on not a shopping spree but a crime spree in Lexington.
An individual had walked into the bank, produced a note, demanded cash from the teller. Bank teller complied.
That happened at First Security Bank along Sir Barton Way just 2 hours later. And just blocks away, guess what police found? The clue that traced the Winchester carjacking and Lexington bank robbery back to the same man.
Someone at the bank gave us that tag, that vehicle description, and one of the officers in the area did a good job locating the vehicle and backed into a parking spot here in the Hamburg Shopping Center.
No one was hurt in either crime, with a gun used in the carjacking, but not in the bank robbery. But Lexington police say they want to be cautious until this man is in custody.
We're going to operate under the assumption the suspect is armed and dangerous.
As for the suspect car, that doesn't belong to him. It was towed back to its rightful owner in Winchester. Now, police are asking that you call them if you recognize the man in those surveillance photos. In Lexington, Carjacking, WKYT.
Here's the description police gave us of that robber. They're looking for a white man in his 50s with a goatee. He wore a baseball cap, dark clothes, and jeans at the time of the bank robbery.
Tonight, we are tracking the investigation into a deadly motorcycle crash in Bourbon County. It happened just before 7 tonight on Thatcher's Mill Road, just outside of North Middletown. The Bourbon County Sheriff says a man riding a motorcycle lost control and flew off the bike. The sheriff says a car coming in the other direction then hit the man. That man died at the scene. The sheriff says the victim is 54 and from Lexington, but his name has not yet been released. An admitted killer received 3 life sentences today for murdering 3 people in Madison County. Matthew Denholm killed Sansere Warford and Charles Walker in 2010 and Zachary Flower the following year. He told police he had been hired to kill Walker and Warford was in the wrong place. In court today, he apologized to Warford's family, but they didn't accept it.
I tell you now that her death by gunshot was very quick, and she did in fact have the opportunity to pray prior to being shot. I know that you'll never have closure, but I hope that this knowledge may bring you some little peace.
But if I have the pencil and pen, I have to be honest with you. I would give you exactly what you gave them.
Despite the 3 life sentences, Denholm will still be eligible for parole after 25 years.
We've seen pictures, but tonight surveillance video has been released from a BB gun scare on the University of Kentucky campus. Through an open records request, our news partners at the Herald Leader obtained this surveillance video from UK. It shows the people police say were involved in firing a pellet gun and BB guns on campus Sunday night. At last check, no charges had been filed yet in this case, but the Fayette County Attorney's Office says the charges would not be public record until a judge signs off. They were served and a court date set. 4 UK football players were suspended for Saturday night's game because of this incident.
It is going to feel more like summer on the second day of October, but then fall is returning. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is tracking some major change for us. Chris?
Yeah, those changes really begin to show up, Amber, as we go into the next couple of days. You know, the past few days we've been battling a lot of fog to start each and every morning. What about tomorrow? Hour by hour fog forecast. Starting out a summer-like day with an improving skyline without as much fog showing up across central and eastern Kentucky. So that is certainly some welcome news. What about the hour-by-hour breakdown? Well, if you're out the door first thing tomorrow morning, those temperatures will be into the upper 50s to low 60s by your lunchtime hour. Already mid to upper 70s. That's going to set us up for a summer-like trip home tomorrow. 80 to 85 degrees throughout most of central and eastern Kentucky. Let's enjoy that if you like the true summertime air, because the big change is just off to our west. Look at the showers and thunderstorms clustered around the KC and St. Louis area. That's really never going to make it in here. This front, though, arrives for the day on Friday. It is separating warm, juicy air from cold, almost late November or early winter-like air across parts of the Rocky Mountains. That's what's going to get in here in the coming days. So we're going from summer to talking about wind chill numbers of all things. We'll break down some of the latest numbers with that wind chill hour by hour forecast, guys. I can't believe I'm saying that, coming up in a couple minutes.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Tonight, health officials are keeping a close eye on at least a dozen people in Texas for symptoms of the Ebola virus. It comes a day after doctors diagnosed the first case here in the U.S.
The patient is in serious but stable condition in Dallas, but as Marley Hall tells us, a hospital's mistake could have exposed more people to the virus.
The man being treated for Ebola in a Dallas hospital could have been placed in isolation when he first went to the emergency room last week. Instead, he was sent home. The patient, identified as Thomas Eric Duncan, went to Texas Health Presbyterian September 26th, complaining of fever and abdominal pains. A nurse, reading from an Ebola checklist, asked if he had traveled from Africa. Duncan, who is Liberian, said yes, but was released anyway. He was admitted 2 days later.
Regretfully, that information was not fully communicated throughout the full team.
Ebola is not contagious until a patient is showing symptoms, and then only by contact with infected body fluids. Those who flew with Duncan from Africa through Brussels and Washington, D.C. to Dallas were not at risk. The head of the CDC Center for Global Health is in Liberia and said there's no evidence that the passenger screening process failed.
The longer this epidemic exists, the bigger it gets, the greater the risk of importation events.
Texas health officials say 12 to 18 people who had direct contact with Duncan will be monitored for symptoms for at least 3 weeks. Marley Hall, CBS News, Dallas.
The 3 EMTs who cared for Duncan as he rode in the ambulance to the hospital on Sunday are being confined to their homes for now. And that ambulance has been taken out of service for decontamination. Doctors at UK Hospital tell us they've been preparing for the Ebola virus for months. They say they want to be ready should the virus ever reach Kentucky. Doctors say they're already asking patients more questions, especially about their travel history, and doctors are receiving extra training so they can spot Ebola symptoms and act quickly.
So the key is just getting them out of any common area into a private room with a private bathroom as soon as possible.
The CDC has said that most American hospitals, including UK, already have the proper tools needed to treat Ebola.
It is a piece of Lexington history, but waste and poor maintenance once ruined it. Now, a year and a half later, a home has a new lease on life, all thanks to some hard work. New at 11, WKYT's Garrett Weimer shows us the transformation of a downtown house that now could sell for more than $1 million.
If walls could talk, what would these say?
In reality, the house probably was crying in the beginning. It was bad. It was really bad.
When Clark and 3 others bought 515 North Broadway, it had been foreclosed. The previous owner was evicted. Their items placed on the sidewalk along the road. Items that smelled of urine and covered in animal waste, all were pulled from this historic home turned hoarder house. 16 months later, this house is as good as new, maybe even better. It was the first stop on the Bluegrass Trust for Historic Preservation tour of Fayette Park.
It's always nice to see something that looks as bad as that taken back and shown that just with a little bit of effort, maybe a lot of effort and some time, that you really can put a place back into good shape and really let it contribute to the neighborhood again.
It's a transformation folks recognize and appreciate.
Now I think it's, you know, kind of like return to glory in a sense, because it's a complete 180 on what happened.
So if walls could talk, these just might say thanks. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
What an amazing transformation. The house was listed for sale this afternoon with an asking price of $1.2 million.
Who killed a 12-year-old boy inside a Louisville park? As police look for the people responsible or the person, we've learned some new details about this case.
Also coming up here at 11, how a Kentucky homeless veteran who died without family still received a military burial today. You'll find out who stepped up to make it all happen.
Tonight, police are asking for help finding the person who killed a child at a Louisville park.
Police say someone found 12-year-old Ray Etheridge dead yesterday near a footpath in Cherokee Park. Louisville police aren't saying how he died, but they do say the boy suffered trauma. They also think the murder happened in the park and not somewhere else. Police are calling this an isolated crime. Ray was a student at a school in nearby Clark County, Indiana.
Ray was the kind of student that has a lot of ability, had a lot of ability, and certainly would have wanted to see him be as successful as possible in his life. So very, very difficult time.
Police say Ray's family is homeless. School leaders say his mother checked him out of school early yesterday because of transportation issues. His body was found at the park about 3 hours later. Police don't think a family member was involved in the murder. Vandals destroyed a World War II veteran's grave in eastern Kentucky. Family members say there's not much left of Ray Collett's headstone at Bowen Cemetery in Leslie County. They're angry and they want to know who did this.
It's all kinds of different feelings, disgust, mad. We just don't understand how somebody could do something like this.
Family members are offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in this case.
A Kentucky veteran who died without a home and without a family received a proper funeral today. Charles Eck served during the Vietnam War. Friends say after his wife died, he somehow lost his home, but he made some friends around Winchester. After he died last month, they organized his funeral. The Patriot Guard riders also stepped in to help. Today, Mr. Eck was buried with full military honors at Camp Nelson Cemetery in Jessamine County.
From everything I've been told, he was a good man. He always had a smile on his face.
The Patriot Guard riders say they hope Eck's story shows that all veterans deserve a proper funeral regardless of their income or their status.
A woman tells us a car barely missed her when it crashed into her porch. Police say the driver had a medical emergency. The car went off East Hickman Drive and ended up crashing through Liz Deaver's front porch. Deaver tells us she had just stepped onto that porch when she saw the car coming toward her. She had just enough time to step back inside her home.
Seeing this car coming as fast as he could, I mean, it kept speeding up, accelerating speed. He'd hit one car, kept coming up.
There is no word on the driver's condition tonight. Deaver says she's waiting to hear back from her insurance company to see how much repairs will cost to her porch.